Hey.
All right. Welcome welcome all to another episode of the Metal Summit here every Wednesday night with our same motley crew of just awesome round robin style guests, co-hosts, and our featured guest today. I want to get everybody acquainted with us. For all of our fans that are joining us again, we appreciate you. We love you to death. Hearts all the way around. And then, of course, we've got the great Psycho Steve. We have Angel Alamo. We've got Max Ash. My name's Jay. And then we've also got a special guest co-host today, the little monster Jack, pressed up as well. And when we get everything ready to go for all of y'all, we also want you guys to sit back, put up your heels for a little while, get a drink, a nice slice of cherry pie, as we bring in our featured guest today from Warrant, Mr. Joey Allen. How are you, brother?
Hey! How's everybody doing on the East Coast?
Good. We're doing great. How about you, man? How are you hanging during this extended vacation?
Dude, it's incredible. I think I'm going to vacuum my roof tomorrow because everything else in my house is clean at this point, right?
Do windows, you could come here.
Yeah, right? No, everything's cool, man. Just taking care of business and family and staying safe like hopefully everybody else is, man.
Absolutely, for sure, 100%. What have you been doing during a little bit else besides cleaning up the downtime? Have you been able to communicate with the guys, work on some music, or are you just kind of taking a little bit of personal time out?
You know, we talked about it in the very beginning about maybe getting something live online, and a few of us squashed that. And then I don't know if guys are writing or not. I mean, we keep in touch via text almost daily. We actually are a band, at least the four original guys and Robert now, but we still get along after 30 plus years, so we keep in pretty good touch, you know.
Very cool.
But nothing I'm aware of. Kind of to be honest with you, just take a break, you know, and take care of business and family and stay healthy and not eat too much and all that fun stuff that I'm sure all you guys are doing.
Absolutely, for sure. We're all trying to avoid the COVID-19 pounds that are going around.
Yes, sir.
And then just one of the things, since you were talking about taking a break, you know, putting down the instruments for a little while, one of the things that's definitely been going on, of course, are, you know, concerts or live shows that have been going on with various bands. But one that's definitely very specific to your guys' genre is the Monsters of Rock Cruise has been doing a consistent series of concerts with bands and stuff like that. Have you guys been approached? And if not, would you consider it if they call?
I don't know if we've been approached, but like I said, we're taking some time down just to chill. You know,
the instruments for a little while. One of the things that's definitely been going.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, not mine.
Wow. So, anyways, no, just I don't know. It'd have to come out, and then if we know the guys from the Monsters of Rock Cruise are all great guys. So, not saying no, but haven't heard of any offer coming through to play live. You never.
Absolutely, man, for sure. Well, here, let's kick it over to Press Stuff 1.5 over there, and Steve and Jack. Why don't you guys jump in, take it away?
All right, Jack, you ask me the question.
No, you're first. I'm still new. I gotta learn.
Okay, you gotta learn from the master, huh? All right, so Warren's been together for like over 30 plus years. Is there something that you haven't done that you guys really wanted to do, that you like a specific country that you haven't played, that you really like, a bucket list country?
I don't think there's a bucket list country as much as we'd like to get back to some of the ones we hit early on, like during maybe the Cherry Pie Tour in 91 or the Dog Eat Dog Tour, you know, something like maybe get back to Japan and Australia would be fun. But as far as bucket list, not really, you know. We're pretty happy to play in America. We like the US of A. We like the people in the US of A. We branded here. We haven't really, outside of maybe Canada, a little bit of Japan and Australia, you know, in Europe, we're not a big band. So going over there takes a lot of effort. And, you know, we love our homies. So we stay in the States a lot.
Sweet.
Absolutely, for sure. Jack, do you want to step in, brother, or do you want to take a little bit of time to get settled?
I have a question. So, sorry for it being so simple, but what is your favorite Warrant song?
Wow, that's actually not a simple question, but it depends on when. It depends on what kind of mood you're in. I think for anybody, like if on a Friday you just want to rock, you want to rage, so maybe I want to listen to something a little kicking, like maybe I don't know, Sure Feels Good or Uncle Tom's Cabin. On Sunday when you're bummed because the weekend's over with, maybe a little bit of Sometimes She Cries because it's sad. You got to go back to work the next day. To be honest, it all depends on the mood. It all depends on the mood.
Nice. Good question.
Absolutely, for sure. Max, you want to jump in with a little bit of love and attention, brother?
Yeah, Joey, in 1994, you left the band and you went to college or something to become a software engineer or something related to software science or IT computer guy.
Yeah, computer engineering. I got Microsoft certified, MCP plus I.
Wow, that's huge, man.
So, I don't know, 56 certificates for just desktop applications, and then I did the MCSE, which I don't even know what it is now, so I'm probably speaking like 96, this is 24 years ago. And got an MCP plus I, which is Microsoft Certified Professional plus Internet.
Wow. But then, are you still practicing, or that's in the past?
I did that for about 8 years, and then when I got back in the band in 2004, I pretty much bailed on it. It's for anybody that deals with data, and I worked for a company that made database. Okay, a company with database software, like mid-tier ERP software, and you can burn out pretty quick. So I did that for a while, which was good for me. I always got to do something, and school education has all treated me well.
Yeah.
In electronic engineering from before I was in Warrant, and so education's not a bad thing. But after a while, when the band came calling, the time was right, and it's been a blast ever since. I think I've been in the band back 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the first run was 8. This is 16, and the only 2 that have any time on me are Jerry and Eric. So.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know. That's a fun fact, to know about you. That I thought it was interesting. I'm an engineer. I'm a IT guy.
Oh, right on.
I started probably when you started in 92, 93. With computers. I'm still paying my bills with that, but so that's what I was interested in to know about.
Much love for the IT guys out there that keep us so we can do stuff like we're doing. Yes. Definitely.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm using my webcam on my Commodore VIC-20, by the way. Just saying.
Of course you are, Micah.
But Joey, you also just touched base on Jerry and also Eric being the only guys with a longer tenure than you. You, however, had a dual axe partnership with Eric even before Warrant with Nightmare 2. So talk a little bit about what you guys were doing with that band and how that led to Warrant.
Wow, that's going way back. I don't know if I can remember that far back, Jay, but I'm gonna dig in and see.
Fair enough, brother.
When I started playing, there was I don't know if it's still out there or not. There was a paper called The Recycler, and that's where you would find musicians on the West Coast, especially in Orange County. And we were looking, whatever band I was in at the time was looking for a singer, and there was an ad in there that said rotten singer looking for rotten band. And we called the guy. He came driving up. He was from, believe it or not, Coffin, Illinois. A guy named Rotten Rod. Came in an old Chevy 4-panel that was spray painted black with the skull and crossbones on the side. And at that point, we didn't even care if the guy could sing. We're like, he's in. You know what I mean? Just on shock value alone. But anyways, Rod is still a good friend, and we started a band. Had some fun. It morphed into this Nightmare 2 band, and one of my old friends I knew in the scene in Orange County, a guy named Daryl. He's a looking like Hendrix dude, fully dressed up like Hendrix. came up to me one night at this rehearsal place in Anaheim and said, "Hey, my buddy wants to try out for your band. Are you into another guitar player?" And I said, "Yeah, man. What kind of amp does he have?" You're like 16, 17, 18 years old. Of course, that's the question. He's got a Marshall. All right. What kind of guitar? He's got a Flying V. I said, "Yeah, tell him to come down here tomorrow at 7 p.m., And here's the set list, like Parasite by Kiss and Rats in the Cellar by Aerosmith and some original stuff we would show him. And in walked the skinniest person I've ever seen in my life, Eric Turner. Probably weighed about 95 pounds at the time. And we jammed for, I don't even know how long, 6 months maybe, And then I split that band to go join another one. Eric left at that time and went up to LA and started Warrant, or got into Warrant.
Nice.
Right before their first gig. So that's kind of it in a condensed format for you there.
For sure, man. That's really, really awesome. Team Pressed Up, why don't I kick it to you right quick, and then after the answer, Angel, why don't you pick it up with the fans?
Cool.
All right. You want me to answer?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
All right. The question is, besides your bandmates, of course, who are your rock star friends? Like before social distancing happened, I know that you did a lot of touring, but when you're not on the road and you're a family guy, but is there any guy or girl that you consider that are like a well-known musician you could call up and say, "Hey, let's go grab a bite to eat"?
Almost on a weekly basis, once or twice at my house. Kevin Baldy's the bass player from Lit. You guys have heard of Lit?
Yeah.
Our kids are best
Absolutely.
friends. We've got a lot in common. So him, his wife, and his son come over, and my son, and they go swimming, and we sit there and shoot the crap, so to speak. And he's a good buddy. So he's probably my tightest bro right now in the music industry. Today I talked to CC DeVille for about 30 minutes.
Sweet.
Yeah, he works. He lives about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from me. So, yeah, but not a lot. I mean, it's, that and my band, really. So it's kind of boring, huh?
No.
No.
No, absolutely. So, like, touching on CC, he's been, like, the most elusive out of the whole Poison band, I guess you could say. Like, he stays off of social media, really. Is that by choice, or do you know why, or did you talk to him about that?
He's just a private dude. I mean, I think of that band, Bob Dahl, and Cecil are probably the quietest, most away from the limelight guys. Brett's obviously out there a lot, and he does a great job at that. But these other guys just do their thing, and when it's time to throw Poison together, they throw it together, and they have a good time.
Sweet.
So I think he's just private. He likes that private time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I have a question here as well. So, how did you learn to do what you are doing today?
The first thing it started with was a dream. And it's like, I tell any young kid is that you got to have a dream. Something you want to do in life that just strikes you as, hey, man, that's cool. Maybe it's what your dad does. Maybe it's what your brother does, older brother does. Maybe it's what your uncle does. Maybe it's what a buddy next door does. Maybe it's that you picked up a Kiss record in 1975 from your sister's collection and said, wow, what's this? I want to do that. Or you go to a concert and you say, I want to do that. So for me, really tied that in there, right? It's just that you've got to have a dream to start with. And then once you have that dream, you just got to believe in yourself and go for it and practice whatever it is.
Yeah.
If it's something that you can go get an education for, then go get an education. If it's something that's artistic, that's more of a you thing, you can still get an education with music. You can take lessons from anybody, So you just got to attack it and be relentless. And that's how it happens, I think, for anybody in life. If you just never give up and believe in yourself and treat people good all the time, then you'll have a bunch of friends. And if you don't get to the success you think you want to get to or expect you want to get to, you'd be quite surprised what it means to have a group of people around you that respect you and enjoy what you do, no matter who you are, as long as you're kind to people. So that has a lot to do with it. Just have a dream, be relentless, work at it, and be nice to people and enjoy yourself. How's that for an answer?
Great.
Very thorough.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Angel, take it away, brother. Who's watching?
Yes, well, I got a whole lot of fans. So Lee O'Neill from France, thank you for watching, where it's 3 a.m. right now. Julie from Florida, who's also having a watch party. Mickey Twist, thank you for watching. Jackie. Now with the questions, Andrew, who's watching. Levin Lewis, Julia Joseph, thank all you guys for watching. I'm going to start out with Lee O'Neill's question. Wants to know, Joey, many people think that Warrant without Janie Lane is not Warrant. What do you think of that?
Wow, that's a good question. Here, let me compare it to something. I grew up listening to David Lee Roth and Van Halen, and those first 4 or 5 records with Dave are dear to my heart. Now, I'm a huge Sammy Hagar fan on his own. And Sammy and Van Halen, I mean, those songs are epic. Nobody can deny that. But there was an edge that Van Halen had with Dave that just I prefer. It doesn't mean that the band stopped when Dave came out. It doesn't mean the band stopped when Sammy went out. Things roll, and that's a lot like Warrant. I mean, I've been in and out of the band. Janie was in and out of the band before he passed. And there's been a few singers, probably 13 or 14 drummers, So I understand it wholeheartedly, but it is what it is. We still create music. We're still a band. We're still the core of that band. The sound you have, with the drums and the guitar and the bass and the background vocals. So, you just got to give it a chance. But I understand if somebody says, hey, we like the Janie era, we're not into this era. I get it, man. No problem. Go check out another band live. It's all good.
Julie wants to know, what good memories do you have, and what was your best concert back in the early days?
Well, I have no memories. I'm sorry to say no. Anybody else here have that problem yet?
What's your name again?
Exactly. Joseph. Anyway, wow. Here's a cool memory. Played, and this was in Meriwether Post, Jay. Right down the street from you, right?
Yeah.
My uncle is a retired Navy captain. Thumbs up to all military. God bless all you.
Yay!
Future. And my grandmother, who's not with us anymore, my uncle, I think, is 86 or 87 now, so he's obviously retired. But he came. We played there, I think, either on the Cherry Pie. Was it the Cherry Pie tour, or we were headlines? It must have been Cherry Pie. I think it was there. And my uncle used to work at the Pentagon, so he came up, and he had my grandmother. And they were backstage, and I asked my grandmother, I'm like, hey, Grandma, she's like, I don't know, 87 at the time or something. I'm like, you want some earplugs? She's all, no, honey, I want to hear all of it. So, long story short, from the stage, I could see my uncle because he had all his whites on because he came straight from work, right? And my grandmother at the sound desk watching my show. It was hard to play because you're like, oh my God, my grandmother's watching me, and Janie's out there flying F-bombs everywhere. It was just like, oh no, but it was a good time. So that's a great memory. Definitely a good memory.
Was that in DC where you played?
Yeah, it was Meriwether Post. So it was in
Washington DC. That's where I am now.
Close enough. Maryland, baby.
Yeah. Man.
And let me see. Jackie wants to know, how did the band come up with the name Warrant?
So the story, I wasn't there when this happened, so I'm going to try to relay what I've known. I think the first drummer, this guy Max, who's a super nice guy, I think he lives over in Vegas now, was a huge Warren DeMartini fan. And when they were looking for a band name on the air, and this is like 2 years before I got in the band, obviously, it spawned from Warren DeMartini, Warren Warrant. And what's funny is I've known Warren DeMartini since I was like 15, when I was way before I even ever met Eric. But I think that's where it comes from.
Huh.
Nice.
Just a couple
That
more
was
fan
84.
questions. Leo Neal wants to know, you left Warren in 1994. What do you think of the albums that Warren did without you?
Here's a shocker. If I've heard them, I think I heard a few songs off the first one. Family Picnic, is that the first one? Or is it
From Ultraphobic.
Ultraphobic? Because I know one of the songs, Stronger Now, was Janie was writing before I left the band, and I wanted to hear it. So Eric sent me a copy of that. I probably went through it like some people do with anything, like you play like 30 seconds of the song, and if you don't dig it, you go on, you go on, you go on, you go on. And it was probably a weird time for me listening to my bros play and not being there, to be honest with you. So I didn't. That's the one that I heard anything of. I haven't heard anything off of Belly to Belly. I never heard anything off that, so I can't comment. But they're my buddies. I'm sure there were some great songs on there.
Yeah.
And we just have a fan that just wants to say something to you directly, and this is from Bridget Sullivan, who's a regular viewer. I just want to say how much I love Warren. Your albums got me through a lot. I feel so excited. I got to see you, and you guys always put on such a great show.
Thank you, Bridget. That's why we do it. For people like you and fans like you that come in and love the music and get that feeling that we all get when we're at a concert and the lights go down and here comes the band. It gives you goosebumps and you just forget about all the day-to-day stuff that's going on. So that's why we do it. You know, that's why we're being safe right now and not touring as well. So everybody stays safe and we don't go out and, you know, have anybody have an issue with being around people, because it's hard when you go to a concert to social distance, man. I don't know what to do. I think we need a vaccine, baby. Come on, somebody out there.
Matt wants to know, can he share memories of touring with Warren when they opened for Paul Stanley on his 1989 solo tour?
1989, my favorite Paul Stanley tour. Amazing.
Did you go to one of those shows, Mac?
No, I was in Argentina, but I loved, that Eric Singer and Bob Kulick. He just passed away, a
Gary
month
Corbett
ago.
Gary Corbett.
Yeah, that was an amazing tour. So that's my favorite tour.
I'm not going to rub it in, but I did go to 2 of them.
Which shows did you go to?
The Ritz show
Wow.
in New York City, and what was the other one in Jersey?
Okay,
You
you're
guys did
definitely
too.
rubbing it in.
So
Here's the memory. Does anybody know how incredibly hard it is to open for a member of KISS in New York City?
Holy.
Anybody?
um,
It's like you know.
People
Anyway,
yelling at you, get out of there. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know what? Paul was a sweetheart. Eric Singer, Bob Cool, everybody there was great. Gary Corbett, they were all just killer dudes. Our first record was out, I think, it came out in January, and I think that tour was like in February. Was it in February, Matt? Steve? Yeah.
yes, sir.
So our record had just come out, and we were cruising, and just great memories, great crowds. Anytime we've done anything around the KISS camp, like we just did the KISS cruise in November of last year, and invited by the band, and it was just great. And the KISS fans I'm a huge KISS fan. I mean, that's why I got into this, right? And so you're nervous. You're like, oh, they're going to hate us, or they're just hardcore, but they're such sweet people and good lovers of music that, same thing with Paul Stanley. He was very cool. I remember the last gig or near it was like at Toad's place or something, and I went in his
in Connecticut.
Yeah. And I gave him a CD of Dirty Rotten Philly Sugar Rich. I'm all, here you go, bro. And then him and Janie hooked up and wrote, or tried to write together. So it was just a good time. I mean, hearing all those old KISS songs and all his solo stuff, off that Paul Stanley record, it was killer.
Yeah.
Fun. Good time.
Very true.
Absolutely. Angel, do you have anything question from yourself, bro?
Yes, I do. How did you end up back in Warren in 2004?
I was working my IT gig like Max, and I got an email from Eric Turner saying it was just not, hey, bro, or it was just, I'll call me. And I'm like, oh no, I hope nobody died. It was like one of those emails where you just like, it wasn't like, hey, bro, what's up? Give me a ring. It was just call me. So I called him up, and he just asked me if I wanted to jam. He said that Janie, they had gotten into an argument with Janie about some financial stuff, and they just wanted to see if I wanted to jam. I said, sure, it sounds great, And then I told them to send me a list of songs that I hadn't played in 8 years or a long time. And they sent it to me, and a few weeks later we got together and jammed. And it sounded killer.
Nice.
Right on.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's also really cool about the Paul Stanley tour because, Max, why don't you pick it up with a question from you right after this? But, I mean, we know how much Bob meant to you personally, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a good guy, always cool. After that tour, when we play LA, he'd come to the shows. I remember seeing him backstage at what used to be called the Universal Amphitheater, which turned into the Gibson Amphitheater, but just always a cool dude, and then knowing what he played on, a Live 2, those songs, Larger Than Life and stuff like that, and just, really a tragedy to Kulik family. Sorry about, that happens. I mean, people pass away, and it sucks because here we are, just left with, what they left us with, and thank God he left us with some music and some shredding guitar,
Yeah, regarding Bob, we put a tribute when he passed. That last year I was, and this is very short. I was very in touch with him because I interviewed him for my show, and then for some technical reason we couldn't finish that interview. So then we kept postponing, and I had that interview halfway through, but I published it anyways because he was very sweet, and he told me more family stories. Very cool guy, man. It's such a sad
Yeah,
bummer.
I mean, it is.
But going, and this goes also, for Jane, Jenny, because somebody asked, well, what is better, or why, or warrant is not the same, but how can you fill that gap? There's a gap that is, you cannot replace that, and the only thing you can do is move forward, right, and do the best you can, and have fun, and entertain, and create a positive energy for everybody. And if I go, I don't know, whatever the M3 or whatever I see Warrant, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna be up there enjoying like I enjoy music. So that's. But going back to Janie, I'm sorry I get emotional with
That's
all
all
this
right.
stuff.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you if you remember, my favorite song. So I went through a lot, many years ago with an ex-girlfriend, and I saw red. It's like when you put a suit and it fits perfectly fine. So
Yeah.
I saw red. So do you have any memories of, recording that, or any experience that you can share? I remember, I don't know, when we were writing this song or we were recording that song. Any memory that you can share that would be awesome.
Yeah, he number one. I mean, he's dearly missed by everybody in this band. I since we've been off, the road and everybody's been at home, I've been cleaning stuff out. So you get into the garage and get into those old bins, and out pop the old pictures, And I found photos from 1987 that I haven't seen since 1987.
Wow.
Me and Lane having a great time, and it gives me goosebumps. But I was talking to somebody like literally last night, just saying I can't. It was Kevin Baldus was over with his kid. I said I can't believe he's gone. Still to this day, it sucks, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. So, anyways, don't want to bring it down. Here's a good story about I Saw Red. It was written on his acoustic guitar. He came in with acoustic, so the piano was never there when we started making that song. But during the Cherry Pie recording, we had a bunch of different piano players come in to try to get them to vibe with different songs. Like there's piano in Love in Stereo off that record. There's piano, obviously, in I Saw Red. And I think what ended up on that song, it might be Ron Feldman which was Janie's old vocal teacher, playing piano. I might be wrong. I know we had Brian O'Neill from the Bus Boys. Anybody remember the Bus Boys?
Yeah.
Right. Brian came in. Vic Johnson, obviously was in the Bus Boys. He plays with Sammy now. So just that was a memory of who's going to play keys on this, and having a bunch of dudes that did that. And then when we did the video, we were on tour and we stopped at it and we found this old barn in Nashville, and that's where that video's from. That video was shot.
Wow.
Old barn in Nashville on tour, and then he did the solo part of it with his guitar, which he had to record, obviously, right next door to a Confederate cemetery.
Oh wow.
So, but yeah, I know.
Well, thank you for sharing, because that song means a lot to me, and just knowing a little bit about the story, it's amazing, man. Having that opportunity, I feel like a privilege. Guys, I have like a 1 minute of all Warrant, 1990s, early 1990s. Would you like to watch it? It's I saw red actually.
Yeah.
Let's
Cue it
watch
up.
it, guys. Yeah, it's just very short.
I saw yours, I saw red, and then I closed the door. And I don't think I'm gonna love you anymore. Well, I've been hurt and I've been blind, and I've done something I've been made. I never thought it would end this way. Cause I'm so red when I open up the door. That's so red. My heart just fell to the floor. Oh, I didn't need to see his face. Oh, I saw yours. I saw red, then I closed the door. And I don't think I'm gonna love you anymore. Oh, it must be magic.
Hey, there you go, man. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Sure, man. Love it, man. That was some cool reminiscing right there.
Yeah,
So-
thanks Joey for allowing us, to remember the old times, man. It's like so many. I don't want to get melancholic, but these are the beautiful moments, that it brings personal memories back to you, So it's like, sharing with your favorite band memories. It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. Thank you.
I love that we can that I get it, man. I'm a music fan, so I go listen to my Priest and my Maiden, and I have huge memories. You'll probably find me air guitaring out back in about an hour.
Nice, absolutely.
Cool, man. Cool.
So Joey, I want to throw something at you right quick, and then we'll kick it up to Psycho times 2. But the one thing that I wanted to ask you real quick is kind of a slight two-parter. So you did the album Born Again, where you had Jamie St. James singing, and then of course you've now got Robert for 12 years now since. I just wanted to ask, what do you remember about the album and having Jamie in the band? And the other part is when it came to Robert coming in, and I heard him refer to himself once as the new old singer of Warrant, which I thought was hilarious. But what was it about Robert coming in? Because he was already pretty much a veteran and a professional with his time in Lynch Mob. What was it about him coming in, and what good vibes did he, give you coming in? So just, talk a little bit about those two guys.
Well, first of all, Jamie St. James, love him to death. The nicest guy in rock. Just a sweetheart, a fun guy to jam with. When he came in, he had big shoes to fill because Lane's vocal range was huge, and and Jamie came in and did his best, and we had a great time. And we went in and made that record Born Again with Pat Regan. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of like a rechristening of what we were doing, and we were just all getting to know each other again. You know, Steven had come back in after Mike Fasano played. I think my first gig I got when I was back in Warrant was with Fasano playing drums. I love Mike. He's in Tiger Army now, by the way. Go check them out. They're rad.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a little plug. But
Yeah.
just a good
Little
time
plug
with
action.
Jamie. Yeah, and then you know, and then Lane came back around, and what do you do? I mean, it wasn't no disrespect to Jamie. It was just like Lane's like, I want to get back in my band, and we're like, okay, well, and it was hard to do that with Jamie because we loved him and still love him like a brother, but we had to move on to Lane, you know, just because we all felt like it was time to do it, you know.
Sure.
And we did that with Lane and did our best to make it happen. And it was rough. It's something that, you know, we don't need to go into great detail about, but it was very, very trying and hard physically, emotionally. Everything was just tough seeing our brother not doing well out there on the road. And at one gig, I ran into Robert Mason, who was totally off our radar. It was Rocklahoma. We were headlining Rocklahoma. I went in a day early on the reunion tour, and I ran into him, and I didn't know what Lane was in rehab at the time. In between gigs, it was right after the infamous Vegas gig where he just was out of his mind, and the next weekend was Rocklahoma, and he was in rehab. I didn't know if he was going to show up, so I literally walked up to Robert and said, "How many Warrant songs do you know?" You know, and we were looking for who else can come out here and sing, just in case Lane doesn't show up or isn't in good shape, or. And I just had a private conversation with Robert and said, "Hey, man, you know, if this doesn't work out, are you interested?" And he said, "Yeah, call me." So that happened, you know. And Robert came into the band about 2 months later, maybe 3 months later. We actually had a rehearsal with him while Lane was still in the band because we didn't know if Lane was going to make it in the band anymore, and we didn't want to stop playing. We loved playing music, and when Robert came out and did it. The hairs on the back of your neck just stood up. We did 5 songs, and the guy nailed it, you know. And,
Nice.
And then it was just a matter of, does Lane want to keep doing this? Can he keep doing this, or are we going to have to turn a corner here? And unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, because we loved Robert to death, you know, Lane was done.
Yeah.
And so, you know, not to bring it down, because I know there's a lot of Janie fans out there. I'm one of them. I love him dearly and miss him dearly. But Robert came in and just breathed a fresh life into the band. He was the right guy at the right time.
Sure.
He is the ultimate professional. He takes care of himself. He's too in shape. He makes me look fatter than I actually am. But he's a brother, and I love sharing the stage with him. There's, you know, when Janie Lane was at the top of his game, nobody could touch him, I thought. You know, the songwriting ability, the singing, the front man, everything he had going on was rocking, you know, and it was for a short time that he had that, just everything, you know, and then it got a little squirrely because of, for whatever reason. But Robert Mason is just the guy that comes out and nails it every night. He's got big shoes to fill. He takes it so personally. Him and Janie were tight friends.
Cool.
So he takes it for real, and he does the best he can. And the new music we've made together is a lot of fun as well. So, you know, for Jay, for both those guys, that's as best I can do for you, brother.
Of course, man. No, absolutely. You know, we appreciate any insight, whether it be fully in depth or just grazing a surface, because that's just how the guest prefers it, man. No, we appreciate you, man. Absolutely. Team pressed up.
Yes,
Steve
sir.
Steve +1. Take it away.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right,
Keep it the same.
All right, so you mentioned about like stepping on stage, everything, and you get all excited. Do you ever get like what's the word? Stage fright? Have you ever gotten it?
Back when I was young and I just started out, yeah. But, you know, other than that, it's just all adrenaline. It's like, it's the best 1 minute of the show when the lights go down before you go out, and you're just back behind that back line, just getting ready to go out front and have a good time and party and play the songs to the best of your ability, and to see people out there smiling and raising their fists and having a good time. That's like the anticipation. It's like I got to keep it PG because your son's here, but it's like,
no, it's fine. He's heard it. You should hear his mother.
To quote my brothers in Motley, 10 seconds to love. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the best time in the world. I mean, the show's great, but little slice right before you go out when it's dark and the crowd goes up, it's amazing. So no, I don't get nervous at all. I get pumped.
Sweet. All right, Jacko.
So this might be a weird question, but have you ever had fans who like try to get up stage and go through security and have succeeded going through security?
Cool.
They all succeeded. Dude, move! Let her go, man. Come on, backstage.
I
I don't care about that guy, but I don't mind her.
Yeah. Come on, hey, what are you saying, man?
Nothing.
Hey, back in the day, there were certain people who didn't have such a hard time getting through to us. But you know what? Never really anybody that was negative that got back there that shouldn't have been back. People look. Again, we look at this as fans. We're fans. I'm a fan of music. So if somebody comes back and wants to meet you, you got to be respectful and nice to them. If it gets weird, it gets weird. And you're an adult enough to step sideways and move on and at least pay respect to the person that's a fan and that wants to meet you. I mean, that's a privilege to me. That's why we're all here. So even when it happens, it's all right.
Right on.
Good answer.
Well, on that note, hi Angel, how about those fans that we love so much?
Boy, we got a lot of fans. Leo Neal wants to know, a lot of groups categorized as grunge spent their time saying bullshit about glam, hair, heavy metal bands. What do you think about them?
The guys that talk shit about my band, I'll fuck them up.
It's like Steve was saying something bad about you last. I'm just playing.
Did you do that, Steve?
Why would I? I stood up for you in the last meeting.
No. Anyways, look, I'm a fan of some of the grunge stuff. I love Alice in Chains. I love Soundgarden. There's some heavy stuff up there that I dig. There was a band I helped get a record deal called Peace and Silence in Seattle during the time. So I'm a music fan. So it's weird when you're a successful band and then other bands are successful. It's kind of weird to see any band talk shit about another band. It's like you're successful. You got you're in a great rock band. You probably got some money. You probably got, a beautiful wife or a beautiful girlfriend. You play music for a living. Why do you got to talk shit about anybody? It's like high school graduated to this music business, and I don't at all subscribe to that. I like to keep it positive, so I don't want to talk shit about any band from Seattle at all. They want to talk shit about. There's bands that talk shit about Warren. Who gives a shit? Makes my ass itch.
They're still talking about you, though. That's a good thing.
Hey, whatever. Who cares?
Our good buddy Mitch LaFont says, "Hey guys." So hi to Mitch LaFont. Thank you for watching. Daniel Cherry, Star Peters. Roger has a good question. Do you know whatever happened to Janie's 80s white BC Rich acoustic guitar with the airbrush?
Oh, wow.
It had an airbrush cow skull on it. And we were given those guitars at a BC Rich photo shoot by Bernie Rico, the original owner of BC Rich. Rest in peace, Bernie. I think he broke that to pieces at a show because, like, anytime you get an acoustic with a wireless on it, especially back in the day, they were temperamental, and if it didn't work and he was trying to go into like Heaven or Uncle Tom's Cabin, I think one time it pissed him off enough to where that thing ended up in splinters.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How about yours? Did you have one as well?
I had an acoustic. Yeah, I couldn't tell you, dude, where that thing is.
Okay.
I only broke 2 or 3 guitars in my life. Out of probably I had maybe 75 or 80 in my life. I've only broke 2 or 3.
That's kind of funny because then that's our next question from
It was
Lee.
all alcohol induced.
Okay, Lee, you, Eric, and Jerry always had great guitars with great designs. Do you still have them?
Yes. I just got a guitar made. The old ones? Is that what they want to know,
Yep.
Angel?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
I've got one of them. I've got a BC Rich Roadrunner where the Coyote finally caught the Roadrunner. Everything I had back in the day, like I had Felix the cat flipping the bird with a bra hanging out of his bag. I always like put a little twist on it. You know, the Coyote was always chasing the Roadrunner, never caught him, so I had a Roadrunner guitar, BC Rich, with a split maple and mahogany neck, where the Coyote caught the Roadrunner and was beating the crap out of him. I've got that thing. It's a little busted up. It's one of those 4 that I took to a wooden stage one night. We're gonna fix it. So I think Eric's still got his Trojan guitar, maybe, and he's got another one, maybe a Nagel. I don't know. Jerry might have a few, but man, back then I had over 50 guitars, and I went through a divorce, the D word, and instead of letting the guitars go through the divorce, I sold them through like the Hard Rock Cafe, and most of those guitars for me are hanging up in different Hard Rocks all over the world, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
They mentioned one in Chicago that actually has one of the guitars. I was reading the comments with the
Yeah,
fan
I'd love
base.
to have them all back right now because it'd be a nice retirement.
There you go. We got to go to Chicago. Psycho, J, Max. We're going to Chicago.
All right.
We're gonna do a heist, like some kind of guitar heist.
There you go.
Just delete this part that we said so they don't know it's us.
Yeah,
All
sir.
right. Love to.
It was OJ.
What? Neil wants to know what bands during the '80s were the coolest with you guys, and which were not.
Huh. Coolest guy I ever toured with is probably Eddie Money.
Nice.
He had some great advice. Here's a good story for you. So Eddie's sober. We're doing a college tour with him because we couldn't get a tour, man. I mean, the Skids were out with like Bon Jovi and Aerosmith, and before we got the Motley Dr. Feelgood tour, we couldn't get a tour, and so we were just like, who wants to take us out? You know, Eddie Money's like, I'm doing 2 weeks as college. So we went out with Eddie, and he was always coming in sober and out. Just come out. We play colleges, so there'd be like racquetball there. We'd all play racquetball. He'd be trying to get all healthy and stuff. And we're like a nightmare. We're like, there's 4 cases of beer in our room, bottles of Jack. And Eddie, who was the most gracious host and had some of the best advice I've ever gotten from anyone, we came off stage one night, and our Jack was gone. And we're like, did you drink the Jack? I didn't drink Jack. Lane, did you drink? No, did you drink Jack? And so we go out to watch Eddie's show, and I think Paul from Winger was in the audience, like front row with his girlfriend. And Eddie had gone into our room during our set and like off the wagon, got hammered, got up on stage, and was hitting on Paul's wife.
Oh, man.
Hey, I mean, that, and then one time I was playing racquetball with him, and I accidentally just squared him right in the back with a racquetball. But I love Eddie Money. I grew up listening to Eddie Money. He's an East Coast guy for you guys, Great songwriter, amazing musician, great sax player. So probably Eddie Money was number one for me. Cheap Trick guys are always killer. Most bands are cool.
I'll ask one question. One question from Mickey Twist, and then I'll ask a question that I have. Mickey Twist just wants to know. See where I can find. Here it is. He heard that the reason that Steve the drummer got into Warrant was because he was the only guy who could do harmonies with Janie. Is there any truth to that?
Janie and Steven grew up in the same area in Cleveland, like Wadsworth and Kent, and they were in a band together in Florida called Dorian Gray long before they even came to LA to be in a band called Plain Jane right before they were in Warrant. So Steven was with Janie for a long time in a bunch of different bands. You'd have to ask Steve exactly when they met and how they met. Steven sings like a bird. Anytime you hear those high harmonies and Warrant songs from the first 3 records or any record since then that Steven's on, it's him. It's like the falsetto in Queen's records is usually Roger Taylor. Even though everybody thinks it's Freddie, I mean, Freddie could get up there, but Roger's got a really high voice too. So Steven's just got a really smooth voice, and he knows how to harmonize well. I mean, we all sing. We're 110% live. You know, I'm third voice. I try to mirror Robert. He gets a little pissy because if I'm off a little, he'll give me stink eye. Everybody sings, but Steven's the one with the bird voice as far as his background vocals go. So I think it was just a friendship and mini band. So I don't think it was just an honest voice.
Oh, and my question is, how was it working with U Hill on the first 2 albums?
Bo.
Oh, sorry.
Or Bo Hell, as we call him. No. Look, he did a good job. It was what it was. My favorite record, to be honest with you, probably Dog Eat Dog with Michael Wagner. The band had been playing together for so long. Michael was a great producer. Michael did the first 2 Skid records, Extreme. He was just a different producer that really let us do what we did and paid attention to us instead of, business. And so that was a lot of fun. No disrespect to Bo, and it might have been because we were more prepared to do the 3rd record, Dog Eat Dog, than we were the first 2 records, And then we also got to work with Keith Olsen, who just passed. We did Rockaholic with him, and then we just worked with Jeff Pilson on Louder, Harder, Faster about 3 years ago. So there's a lot of good guys we've worked with.
Wow.
Cool.
Right on. That's really, really cool. So real quick, I'm going to jump in as we get just a little bit towards the top of the hour. We always kind of go through our shout outs. We give a little bit of love to like our sponsors and everything with that. But Joey, are you still cool to kick it with us for a little bit longer after we say hi to a couple of people?
Absolutely, Jay. You got me. Whatever we need.
Killer, man, for sure. So I just want to take a second to say thank you to some of our sponsors and endorsement partners that back us and work with us. We've got Levy Metal Enterprises, who make custom guitars and stage props. We've got Twisted Vines Horror Decor out of Rhode Island. We've got Bradley Entertainment, who I know, Joe, you're familiar with from a previous gig. And we've also got Aces and Eights Skateboards based out of Maryland as well. So we want to thank those guys very much for their contributions and their willingness to rock out with us and partner with us. So we very much appreciate those guys super duper much for that. And kicking back into everything, Max, how about you, man? Let's hear from you.
No, it's just 2 things. One, Bobby Dreher has some, I think, issues tonight, so I just want to, shout out to him, Bobby. We love you, brother.
Love you, Bob.
And you know what? The fans are so cool that I'm gonna give my, a turn to any questions that the fans are going to write right now. So, Angel, go for it. Thank you, all the fans to watch, our show.
I'm going to go to Bill Burke. As a guitarist, for guitar players, how do you approach the fretboard? And how would you teach someone who's trying to learn the fretboard, patterns, and scales?
That's an awesome question. Awesome question. See, thank you.
Wow.
There's so many of them. I mean, a lot of guys get stuck in pentatonic mode, which is just blues, basically five different scales, basically wherever you want on the neck. And once you learn those 5 different scales, you can put them in whatever notes you want. There's a lot of stuff I do that's based in pentatonic because, even though Warrant's like a, whatever you want to call it, rock band, it's blues bass. I mean, it's A, D, G, E. It's those 4 chords that just maybe a little C there, here and there. But I mean, the best thing to do if you're trying to learn how, it depends on where you're at. If you're in your beginning, just get a good guitar teacher that's going to teach you. Like my son, I have him doing piano lessons right now. Traditional way to learn is the best way, in my opinion, and that's on listening to notes in your ear. You grow an ear, and having somebody teach you and getting the music in front of you. And if it's either tab or if you want to read and get crazy, go for it. But just like, again, I go back to that word relentless. Just if you love it, don't stop and keep on doing it. And sometimes switching teachers is good too, because you might have one guy teach you one thing in his way, and then you got another guy or a girl, that could teach you their way, and you're going to learn something from anybody. Anytime I was on the road and there was another band playing with us, and I thought, God, this guy's just shredding. Like again, I'll go back to Eddie Money's band, Tommy Gervin, that played with Eddie Money's band. Like, oh my God, this guy's killer. He's from Pasadena. He used to be in a band called Smile, back when Van Halen was not even signed.
Wow.
And he was so rad. I'm like, dude, will you please give me lessons on the road? He's like, you don't need lessons from me. And I'm like, please. And he gave me some, and the first thing he said was, he goes, I'll show you whatever you want to know, but how do you do this? I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And he didn't even tap, but he was so rad, and he still is.
Very cool.
So just, just go after it and take lessons, and I mean, it's a personal thing, playing an instrument, so follow your heart for sure.
Jay, sorry, I need to jump in very quick.
Of course, man.
All right, so this is Max the Fixer. So I remember, when we started to post the flyers, about, you join us for today. So Daniel Cherry, say, hey, you know what? One day I saw Joey. I don't know if he was in a bad mood or what, but I had a bad, experience. Can you say hello or something to Daniel Cherry? Because, I say, Daniel, we'll take care of this, man, because I know Joey's a very cool guy,
Was I an asshole? I'm sorry.
No, man, this is awesome. You made his day, man.
I remember. Listen, man, we're all accountable. I remember a few times meeting some fans where I was either hungover or in a bad mood, or I'd just gotten some bad news. We're all human beings,
Exactly.
and no excuse. Certainly, if I was a dick, I apologize, and I owe you a beer. And,
All right.
I'm very sorry, but
Thank
yeah,
you,
man,
Joey.
it happens, man. We're human.
Yeah, of course, man. We all have bad days. And Joey, thank you for that. Daniel, here you go, brother. As we promised, man. Like,
Sorry, Daniel.
taking care of our fans, man.
Take care of our peeps.
Yes.
Hey, Joey, real quick, when you were talking about Smile, you're not talking about the band Smile that then turned into Queen, are you?
No. It was Smile from Pasadena.
That's what I thought.
Look at you, Jay. Are you the? Can I drop an F-bomb here or what? I don't even know.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh fuck! Are you the
Look,
fucking
we're not Super Bowl.
encyclopedia of rock, Jay? Jesus,
My mom's got like a record of 15 a day.
I'm a huge Queen fan. I think
I love Queen, Joey.
you're absolutely correct, dude. I'm a huge. God bless you. Did you ever see him live?
You know what? I didn't. Unfortunately, it was like I was old enough at the time, but it was right at the tail end of Freddie's life.
Right. Okay.
So I wasn't really. I was kind of a late bloomer to concerts, and I wasn't really going to be able to get out to seeing Queen. My mom. I love you, Mom. She gave me my first Queen album, and I've always loved Queen, and I've been, and my dad, who loves his action movies, got me into watching The Highlander, which is the bridge that got me into the It's a Kind of Magic album, which is still one of my favorite albums to this day. But between Nobody Wants to Live Forever and Princess of the Universe and It's a Kind of Magic,
I come into Queen at about I don't know, sheer heart attack. I saw him live at the Forum in LA with on the Game tour.
Wow.
One of the top 3 bands I ever saw live. Then I went to Van Halen 2 at the Sports Arena in LA, and then of
What year
course
was that?
I think that was 79 maybe.
Okay.
Right?
Were they opening up for Black Sabbath?
No. They were headlining. It was LA.
Oh, okay, cool.
Van Halen 2, they were on fire. They were on fire. They were rad. And then Queen, and then Kiss, the Love Gun tour I saw when I was young. So
Nice.
But yeah, man, Queen. God bless Brian May. One of the worst covers we ever did in our lives was "We Were Rocky."
People rock you.
You can't.
How did that come together?
Here,
Go ahead, bro.
Hey, Angel, don't talk shit about me, okay?
No.
I'm talking. I'm joking. Here's a note to everybody. Hey, guess what? Nobody should ever cover a Queen song. Nobody.
I was telling that Psycho Steve the other day.
Metallica okay with Stone Cold Crazy, but you can't do that shit, man.
For sure. Was that just like what Angel was asking? Was that just like an experiment? Was that like a few too many beers and you guys were down, or?
It was a movie, and the guy said in the movie, we want you guys to play We Will Rock You. So Janie messed with the arrangement. We all played with. Then we had to record it and send it to Brian May, and he had to sign off on it, and he signed off on it. And Brian's a lovely, lovely gentleman who just, I guess, experienced a heart attack a while back. I think we all read about that.
Yeah.
So I think he's okay, which is good. But got to go to the Miracle. I'm dropping names now. The Miracle record release party on the Queen Mary in L.A.
Oh, nice.
Brian and Roger were there. But anyways, every band makes a mistake now and then, and Butcher's a classic, so why not?
No, absolutely. Before I kick it over to Steve and Jack, I have seen Queen, though, a couple times recently, and I really do want to give a shout out and some love to Adam, because I really think he does a great job with probably what most would consider to just be the impossible gig. I mean, it's Freddie Mercury, and I really do think that Adam does a terrific job. I've seen him live a couple of times, and he's absolutely killer. He shows respect, but he does it his way. It's not a guy pretending to be Freddie Mercury. It's a guy paying tribute, and I definitely think that Adam does a really good job when it comes to that, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. Like I said, I'm a huge Queen fan, so anytime a band continues to make music and play live, I appreciate it. I mean, we're all blessed to have live music. I think now that we haven't had it for 4 or 5 months, that we all understand what it really does for our hearts and our heads and our psyche, our emotion, everything that's going on. And anybody that gets out there, I mean, I'll tell you what, he's got to have huge balls to try to follow up Freddie Mercury. I mean, I get, Paul Rogers, Rogers is already, Paul Rogers, but for somebody else to step into that band and to go for it, that's a huge, crazy thing. I couldn't imagine, what huge balls it takes to do that. And I've seen it live. I haven't seen it live in person, but I've seen it live on TV. He does a fabulous job. So kudos to him too. I agree with you, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you see those like little memes and stuff like that, that's always like, what person can you bring back from like the dead? Funny, my friends and people that I know, they're always on me for like, because I never say like, Dimebag or this person or that person. And it's not that I love those guys any less. I don't even hesitate. I'm like, I would bring back Freddie Mercury. They're like, really? You wouldn't bring back like a hard rock or like a metal guy? I'm like, I need that guy back. Like, I need that presence, that just quintessential front man that he really put out when it came to that. So I was like, that's always been my answer, is that's 100% who I would bring back. Well,
you got live shows, you've got to look on that Freddie did. You've got tons of recordings, so
Absolutely.
It's how do you pick who to bring back? We love them all, man.
100%. It's definitely difficult, but that's just one of those ingrained into my psyches. Is probably the guy that I would just totally need.
Yeah.
Steve and Jack, it's all you guys.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're welcome.
So I'm not trying to call you old or that you should retire, but what are your plans on retiring?
That was amazing.
That's rad. And you just by the way, when you ask a question, don't give yourself away right away, because you just gave yourself away right at the front end. But it's okay. You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
He's like yoga pants. They don't lie. Okay.
Here's
wow. What does yoga pants got to do with rock and roll?
Right?
My son doesn't lie. Yoga pants don't lie. They show everything.
I'm not trying to imagine yoga pants right now.
Hey, we're on live.
Those 80s Cougars, baby.
Yeah, we're so. Anyways, it's funny that you say that because I was talking to Jimmy DeGrasso, drummer, good friend of mine that he's played with Megadeth and Y&T. He played with Rat a little bit. He's from Philly area, and then I was talking to Cecil today. And when you get older, bones hurt, body, neck hurts. You go out, you headbang at a show. You got to have some Advil or what we call Oldville for the next day before the next gig, or your hands get a little sore, And I was just talking to these guys about some ailments, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like Cecil today. Here's my Cecil impression. Oh yeah, you got to talk to John Levin. John Levin knows all about that, and he'll tell you to eat like 10 milligrams of fish oil, and it'll fix it right up. And then you got these exercises to do, and it'll fix you right up. So there's my Cecil imitation.
That's awesome.
It's okay, right?
Guys, I think we missed the boat on a question from John 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, because we had John on a
Yeah,
couple
we
weeks
did.
ago, Joey.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good,
we
good.
did.
John, I love John. John's a shredder. So, anyways, I'm gonna do it until it's no fun anymore, man. How's that?
AARP tour.
Yeah, AARP.
There you go.
Till it ain't fun. I don't know. We'll see, man. We're at least in for another record and another 10 years of touring. It's at least what we talk about. So we'll see.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, so I have a question, and I know Angel's going to get miffed about this. We've had two members of Trickster on, Steve and Jay. You guys did tour together years ago. Now we're coming up to the 31st anniversary because I'm
30.
30, right? It's 30.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, the 30th anniversary. Any chance that you guys can see of doing a tour together again?
We've played so many times with all those guys. They're our bros. You got the boys from Trickster, Jersey guys, Firehouse guys down from Virginia area, North Carolina. I mean, we're all brothers. I wish the Trickster guys could fix they got some family feud thing going on where Steve isn't getting along with Gus or whatever, but they got to go some band therapy.
Right.
So I'm willing for $5 an hour to fix that band, so that we could go out and do at least a few shows around next year. I think it's 91's when that tour happened.
Right.
Cherry Pie came out in 90, right? So Cherry Pie hits 30 years old this September.
Yep. September 11th.
Yeah, nice, right? 9/11. Nice.
Oh,
Yeah, CJ.
I'm always getting in trouble with
Dude, it's just you got to be bull. I didn't even know, and I looked it up, and I'm like, you got to be bullshitting me. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we'd see. I love those guys. It'd be great.
Sweet.
Absolutely,
Okay.
for sure. Hey Max, do you want to take it away, brother? If you got something on your
Yeah.
mind, back to Angel.
Let's talk about the hottest band in the world, Kiss. Tell me about the first time you saw them, because when you started to talk about them at the beginning of the interview, you can were enlightened, by Kiss, you had a smile, So tell me that
Yeah.
first moment or whatever you remember that made an impact on you.
Wow. I mean, let's go back to where I ripped off Alive from my. I have two older sisters. I'm a baby brother. Maybe that's my worst thing in life is I'm the baby brother. But anyways, I ripped off Kiss Alive from my sister, put it on the table. It was one of those huge, those huge things you have out, that's got an AM, FM, an 8-track player, a cassette player, and then the big speakers on the side, but it had those bunny ear, antennas, right? For the radios, FM and AM, right? And there was in front of this big mirror, and I'd put Kiss Alive on. I couldn't even tell what Paul or Gene were singing because it was just foreign to me. I was probably 10 or 11 or 12, whatever. 11, 75, right? Didn't Alive come out in 75?
Yes.
Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Live came out in 75. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was 11, maybe, or just 11, because I'm a June baby. But put those rabbit ears out like a microphone stand, and I was in Kiss, man.
Awesome.
Just like all you dudes that like Kiss. Everybody's got that same exact story.
Yeah.
Same exact story.
There's a
and then got to see them live. They actually Destroyer came out. They played in Anaheim Stadium, and I couldn't go because I was 12. And then my parents let me go to the Forum. They played 3 sold out nights during the Love Gun tour, and Cheap Trick opened up. And so Cheap Trick was the first band I saw live. They were amazing. And then when Kiss came on, I mean, it was that tour. What can you say? I mean, that is why I'm here. I've had the conversation with Gene. I've had that conversation with Paul. I mean,
nice.
I can't kiss their ass enough, you know?
What year was it? What year was it? Sorry, when you saw them live the first time?
It was the Love Gun tour. So what's that? 70,
77?
77.
77.
Was 76. Yeah,
Like
77. Wow. Wow, that's a great tour, man. Oh my God.
Because 76
We're not really
got
good Kiss fans
Destroyer
of our
and Rock
memories
All
right now.
Over, and then Love Gun came out.
Gotcha. Dude, that's a very cool. You got like the best moment of them, you know.
Oh,
I wanted to be Ace Frehley so bad. I got pictures
Oh
of
my
me.
God.
Dude, Joey, we had a badass early episode of this show, man, where all of the hosts, we ranked our top 5 Kiss albums of the 70s.
Oh man, I remember.
So,
Let me show you something. I'll be
you know,
back.
anything? My top Kiss record?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
Dude.
go ahead.
Dress to Kill.
Nice.
Oh man.
Come on. I mean, Dress to Kill, number 1. Probably Rock and Roll Over, number 2. I just got a puzzle for Rock and Roll Over. You ever tried that? Look at that. Dynasty.
Yeah, look, this is signed by. You know who this guy is? It's Anton Fig, the guy who played.
Yep.
That's Anton Fig, and this is Ace Frehley's signature.
I went to that tour at the Anaheim Convention Center, and everybody threw marshmallows at him during "I Was Made for Loving You."
That's so funny, man.
I didn't throw any marshmallows.
Oh, you were the polite one.
Promise.
Dude, that's so awesome. Hey, Angel, how are we doing with the fans, brother? We got some questions?
Oh, yes. Lee O'Neill. The only time I saw Warrant was in Paris opening for Iron Maiden, but the audience was very difficult. But you were totally killer. Do you remember that tour with Iron Maiden?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like playing New York City with anybody from Kiss. Here comes this band, you know, Heaven with the white leather. I mean, we didn't wear that when we did, I think, 10 or 15 dates with Maiden in Europe. And great guys, still really good friends with Nico because he's in the States here. And just a great time. So played Paris. It was at the Zenith, I think, hall. And we came out, it was a dog eat dog tour, and so we were all in, you know, jeans and probably trying, I don't know, we might have had the grunge flannel on, I don't know, but we were hitting. We were playing before Maiden, so we weren't playing, I don't think we played Heaven. I don't think so. I think we played as much fast crap as we could, and when we went on stage, 20,000 people, I think, stuff just starts flying at you. You know, bottles of piss, whatever people can throw at you. And you either can run and hide like a pussy, or you can just face it and just try to get through it. I mean, you're opening for Maiden, dude, you know? Yeah. And I think by the end of the set, the shit stopped flying, and we actually got some people that were digging it. So that's my recollection. And Maiden guys were always just sweethearts, and there were a lot of gigs on that tour. Switzerland, Italy, just killer, you know? A lot of fun. Nice. Played a gig in Italy with, listen to this bill. Who doesn't belong on this bill? Okay. Pantera, Warrant, Testament, Megadeth, Black Sabbath, or Iron Maiden.
Did you say In Sync?
No, we don't talk about boy bands.
We were In Sync that night.
Because of boy bands.
Wow, who were more Aquanet? You or Iron Maiden? No, okay.
The Eddie.
Hi.
Nice.
Gotta call a hair farmer a hair farmer. Come on.
True story.
I hope we never see Cycle Steven yoga pants.
All right.
Okay.
Daniel Cherry has a question. Joey, do you still have your bionic arm tattoo?
Yes, it's bionic. There it is, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Cool.
Fun,
Very
right?
cool, man. Very cool.
Hell yeah.
I should get some tattoos.
He wanted to see that, Angel, because he can't believe this guy in a hat with the big scrubbly gray beard is. Anyways, joking around.
That's a cool
Hey, is
tattoo.
that a Red Sox tat I just saw, Jay?
Yes.
Look at you.
I'm from just outside of Salem.
Yankees.
Oh, nice. Wicked
Yeah.
Pista.
Yeah. So
I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, the Big Red Machine. Johnny
Big
Benn.
Red Machine, dude. Those were some painful years, but you just couldn't mess with that team, dude.
You couldn't, right?
No.
I'm not, and I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, so
Oh, okay.
still, to this day.
Right on.
Laces out. All right, sorry. All right.
that's
Any other questions from anybody else?
I got one I want to sling in just because I love gear. Like if Bobby was here, we'd be definitely doing a lot more guitar talk, and I'm a huge just guitar nerd in general too. But talk a little bit about the guitar that like we use for your promo photo, and I've seen you use it a lot live now, which is what is that? It's a Firebird, I think, with like flames and a 13.
Yeah, the company's out of San Dimas. San Dimas, bro.
Oh yeah, be excellent to each other.
Most excellent. Like a mile from where Jackson Charvel was. I worked at Jackson Charvel from 85 to 87. I don't know if anybody knows that. I got my degree in electronic engineering and worked there, building prototype amps as well as putting all the electronics and guitars for like Jeff Beck and Phil Collin and stuff like that, all the active stuff. And a guy worked there named Dan Lawrence. Well, Dan bought nice pussy, Jay.
You like that, huh? I share it with everyone.
I love it. I love a nice pussy.
I got you.
Me too.
Good. So, anyways, fast forward. Dan owned GMP, Genuine Musical Products, guitars. They're handmade in San Dimas. He has been in this industry for a long time. They're killer. I've got set necks. That guitar you're talking about weighs about almost 11 pounds. It's full mahogany.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a beast. And rocket pickups, got a Floyd on it, Floyd Rose upgrade stuff. And American drag seat racing straps. I got to pimp everybody now, right? Dropping the bomb. Dean Markley strings, Hughes and Kettner amps. We could go through it. But anyways, that guitar is a love of mine. I'm just getting a new one called a Solus, which is like a set neck, kind of like a Stratty style. I just put on my Facebook a few days ago, and I'm picking it up actually on Friday. It's done. So
Nice.
I'm a single hum, one volume knob guy with a Floyd.
Oh, right on, bro.
And I've got about 4 patches on my amps that I use. I've got a Morley Wah I use live, and that's about it. I mean, if you can't get it done with those 4 tones, then you're working too hard.
Absolutely.
Hello, endorsements. Hello, endorsements.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Joey's available.
Wire. I don't want to forget anybody. I'll get my ass kicked.
Hey, Levin, if you're still watching this, man, hit up Joey.
Exactly.
Yeah, before we start kicking it around for final questions, one more just guitar thing. Do you have any like funny stories of just like a guitar like casualty on stage? Did you ever try to like sling it around your back and have it just fly off or anything just like that?
You mean the Jeff LaBarre or the Eric?
Yeah.
No, I never did. I never got into that. I never even tried it because I was afraid I was going to choke myself or exactly what you said. The thing goes flying off and takes a bass player out or something. Here's a good story. So I get back in the band. Jerry Dixon and I love him dearly. He's one of my dearest brothers. We were like the best in the very beginning of Warrant. We were the best friends. So there was like Jerry and I were in one group, and Eric and Janie were in a group, and then Steven was just kind of float around. But so Jerry and I, when I left the band, I think it pissed him off. Whatever. I get back in the band 8 years later. We're on the road. Jerry wants to write some music one night. He's like, "Hey, can I borrow your acoustic guitar?" I'm all, "Sure, dude, man. Here you go. You want me to come?" He goes, "No, man. I just want to sit up there." So I think he, he's a sober guy now, 110% sober, but back then he wasn't. This is probably about, 12 years ago. And we're at this hotel on the first floor. He's on the second floor. and my window's open, and I just see this guitar come sailing like out, skips on the ground a few times right into the pool. I'm like, what?
I think I just got so sad.
Dude, I went out there and it was my acoustic. And Jerry was just like hammered. He's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. It's just a piece of wood." So for his birthday that year, I had a guitar painted for him. And we remember when we used to flip the guitars up and they said something on the back.
Yeah.
I had a bass painted like the Killer Born Again graphics, and from the record, and you flip it up, it said it's just a piece of wood, and it pointed to his dick. That's all. That's the only way we get it back in Jerry Dixon. But
hell yeah!
There's a good Guitar Casualties show or story for you.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Team Pressed Up. How about Steve and Jack? What do you got?
Right. I remember back in the day when I saw you guys back at the Birch Hill nightclub in Old Bridge, New Jersey. That's the first time I saw you guys. This is going back, I'd say like 87, 88, possibly. You guys used to jump on each other's shoulders, everything.
Yep.
Are we too old for that? Or could we see it happen again this 30th anniversary tour?
We will be breaking backs if that. Eric might be able to get up on Dixon's back, but if I got up on Robert's a strong guy, he's like 2% body fat. But if I got up there, I'm working on dropping some weight before we start touring again. So maybe if I get down about 20 pounds, we'll see. But that was something you do when you're in your 20s and you weigh about $130.
Right on.
Not now, and I'd probably get dizzy up that high anyways. So who knows?
Nice, because I do remember vaguely something happening to one of you guys. Like someone got hurt on one of the shows with that happening. Do you remember?
That happened in Philadelphia.
Right.
It was opening for Motley Crue on the Dr. Feelgood tour.
Right.
And there was this Warrant fan, and they were such a Warrant fan that they brought eggs to the show. It was at the Spectrum in Philly. And eggs just started flying, and you're a sitting duck, and it's like they were nailing Turner. So I'm like, fuck, I'm out of here, like kicking on Lane, going, giddy up, let's get out of here. And Turner got nailed, and it was a bit of a joke for the longest time. Like he after that show, he was offering somebody $1,000 or $2,000 to go out and find the guy that did it. He wanted to beat it, and Eric was like weighed $120. He couldn't beat anything. So it's frustrating, And so, anyways, anytime we go out to breakfast, and they'd be like, "Well, how do you want your eggs, sir?" I'd be like, "On his guitar." But yeah, that happened in Philly.
So, do you think he'd get mad if I brought him an egg to sign? Okay.
You could just tell him, "Hey, I'm the guy from Philly," and he'd probably beat your ass. He could probably beat your ass now.
Probably.
Now I know exactly what to do next time we see Warrant.
Definitely.
Like Eric, that's Cycle Steve. He's from Philly. Get him.
Thanks, Angel. All right,
Hey,
Jack.
I try to help you.
Appreciate it.
You've always wanted to meet Eric anyway.
He's a good dude.
All right, Jacko the Wacko, go ahead.
So we've heard a lot about your rock life and all that, but what are your hobbies for when you're not on the road and rocking out?
Well, some people may or may not know this, but for the last 15 years, I've worked for Pearl Drum Company, and I am a West Coast senior sales rep for Pearl. So I work 40 hours a week, helping Pearl sell drums. And then on the weekends when I do tour, it's about a 70-hour work week for me. So I'm a worker. I like to work. It keeps me out of trouble. So that's one thing I do a lot. The other thing I enjoy to do if I'm not doing Pearl or Warrant is spend time with my wife and my son and my daughter. I've got a 28-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son.
Oh, wow.
So that's my favorite thing to do is just be with my family and if it's watching a movie or getting in the pool and throwing my son around or whatever, that's what it is for me. So it's cool to see you with your dad. Be nice to your dad.
See that?
There.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. Hey, Max, anything from you, brother, before we kick it to the fans to
Yeah,
wrap?
just as a fan, Joey, thank you for so many years of talent, music. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you, brother. So, that this interview meant a lot to me for, what you represent, of all the good music, good taste, exquisite music. So, anyways, just wanted to say that because, I really, really enjoy, listening Warrant for many years. So, thank you.
Man, that warms my heart. Max, thank you very much for the compliments. Thank you for your support. And it would be great to see when we get back on the East Coast, all four of us guys, if we can get together at one place that's close enough and
Yeah.
count here, five, excuse me, all five of us guys. You're going to have orange juice or something, soda or whatever.
Yes.
Great to see you. Thank you for the compliments, Max. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely, for sure. Angel, closing remarks from the fans, bro?
Just a lot of love from the fans. Julie's from Philly, but I can confirm she did not throw any eggs. Just a quick question. We can go back to the Cherry Pie album. You had the Ode to Tipper Gore song. Was there any concern about any controversy or any stores not carrying the album because of that? I mean, it's a fun track because it was fun making fun of Tipper Gore and her parents' group.
Right. She was doing the PMRC at the time. So what that came from was that we did a live show with Westwood One back in the day, did a live radio show. So they had to take out all the nasty words because we couldn't cuss on radio back then. And we had an engineer take all that filth from one show and put it into that diatribe, and he played it as a joke to us. And it was at the same time when our friend Dee Snyder was in Congress, like as articulate as Dee is, doing his thing, stand up for us. And we thought it would be a great time to just release the Ode to Tipper Gore because we thought she was ridiculous. We thought, there's Satan in music, and music means so much to us, fans and even bands, that to have somebody that just didn't get us at all is a group of people, the warriors of music that love music, play music, do anything we could to throw our curveball. So we wanted that out on the record, and I think it forced Columbia into putting one out with the PMR sticker on it, which was great, or PMRC sticker on it, and then one without where it wasn't on the record. So that's my memory of that.
Well, we all turned out to be pretty cool kids, didn't we? J Max,
Yeah.
Psycho,
I think I came out okay.
Tipper. This is for you, Tipper.
Absolutely, for sure. But that was also what it was about, too, is back then, man, you saw those albums with that label, and you knew those were the albums you wanted to buy.
Well, there's part of a reason behind it, but it was more or less just giving her a curveball,
For sure.
I've always wanted to
Absolutely.
give Tipper the middle finger. I'm glad we got to do that tonight.
Oh, without a doubt. Sure.
Highlight.
But Joey, man, thank you so much. This was awesome, dude. And what really matters to us too is how you felt about it, man. Did you have a good time, man? Did you feel that your time was of value? And because we'd love to have you get back on again in the future, and of course, an open invitation to everyone in Warrant.
Guys, this is a great format. I'm having a great time with you guys. We've cut away an hour and a half, and it seems like 20 minutes. I hope some people got their questions answered out there. I want to throw.
We always make sure we get all the questions.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. Max, hearing that from you warms my heart. Very cool. I can't wait to meet you guys in person. I've obviously met Steve in person, but can't wait to see you guys in person and have a beer with you. And to the fans out there, thank you.
Next month, hopefully, at that show
man.
with a Psycho Steve hosting.
There you go. Let's do it.
Sure. Oh, yeah, Joey, because you and I are definitely going to have to break away at some point and talk Queen.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Well, for everybody here at the Metal Summit, for Steve and Jack Presta, for Angel Alamo, for Max Ash, my name's Jay. Thank you again very much, Joey Allen. To all the fans, we love you guys. Tune in next week.
Thank
the
you.
guest announcement will come out shortly. Live fast, die loud, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Everyone wear your mask.
are listening to the Metal Summit, your source for all things rock and roll.